The education trap, why you are taught to obey. Intro, the paradox. We grow up believing a noble lie. We are told that education is the key to freedom, that the school system exists to unlock our potential, spark our creativity, and turn us into critical thinkers. But if you look closely at the history and the machinery of modern schooling, you start to see a different reality. What if the system isn't broken? What if it is working exactly as it was designed? The truth is, our education system didn't evolve to create thinkers. It evolved to create workers. It transformed from a tool of knowledge into a structured trap, one that trades your curiosity for obedience and your financial freedom for a lifetime of debt. Section 1. The industrial blueprint, the factory floor. To understand why schools look the way they do, you have to look at the 19th century. The Industrial Revolution created a massive demand for a specific type of human being. Factories didn't need philosophers who quoted Socrates. They needed laborers who could read a manual, follow instructions, and tolerate boredom. The modern school system was modeled after the factory. Think about it. Students are sorted by date of manufacture, so their age. They are processed in batches called classes. Most importantly, they are governed by the bell. The bell doesn't signal that you've finished learning a concept. It signals that your shift is over. This wasn't accidental. This was conditioning. It was designed to prepare the mind for the rhythm of the assembly line. Section 2. The death of curiosity, grades as currency. In a natural state, humans are learning machines. We are driven by curiosity. But standardized schooling replaces that internal drive with something artificial. The grade. The A became the wage. The F became the threat of poverty. By quantifying intelligence, the system taught us to prioritize the appearance of competence over actual understanding. This creates a psychological trap. To innovate, you must be willing to be wrong. But in school, being wrong is punished. Over 12 years, this sculpts a mind that is terrified of failure. We stop chasing ideas and start chasing security. We stop asking why and start asking, is this on the test? Section 3. The debt trap, credentials, and control. As the economy moved from factories to corporate offices, the trap tightened. The university degree transformed from a mark of scholarship into a mandatory entry permit for the middle class. But this permit comes at a price. When you enter the workforce with massive student debt, your tolerance for risk evaporates. You cannot afford to start a business. You cannot afford to be an artist. You cannot afford to wait for the right opportunity. You must work immediately. Debt is a mechanism of behavioral control. It ensures that the educated class remains tethered to corporate structures, fueling the economy not as owners, but as dependent laborers. Section 4. The Great Omission Financial Illiteracy. Perhaps the greatest evidence of the system's intent is what it doesn't teach you. You spent years learning the dates of battles and the properties of rocks. Yet, you were likely never taught how money works. You weren't taught about compound interest, leverage, or the difference between an asset and a liability. Why? Because a population that understands how to generate wealth is difficult to govern and harder to employ. By keeping financial literacy a secret language, the system ensures a steady supply of workers who trade their time for money, never realizing the game is rigged against them. Conclusion. The awakening outro. The education system didn't fail. It succeeded in a goal it never told you about. It successfully engineered a workforce that is technically proficient, but philosophically domesticated. It taught you to look for a job rather than to create work. It taught you to seek security rather than liberty. Real education doesn't end when you leave school. In fact, that is often where it truly begins. The cage is open, you just have to walk out.